Hey guys, how you going? Welcome to episode 6. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Going to be doing some work on the SR250 today. This is the first time I've had to do an oil change for this bike. I spoke to a bloke who had a look at a leaky fork seal the other day. He advised that when I start to ride the bike daily, it's kind of at that point where I would need to look at getting a service done. And I'm there now because I got my license this week. If you haven't seen that video, previous video from this one is covering that whole situation. So yeah, I am riding this bike every day now, which means that it's about time to do an oil change. So I went down to Super Cheap Auto. I picked this oil up. According to the website, it said that it would be suitable for this bike. I've also done some research and had a look on forums and things like that. People generally use 10 weight -40, which according to what I can see is to do with climate and the viscosity of the oil. If you're in a hotter climate like I am, then this oil is apparently going to be totally fine. The other thing is that with these old sort of bikes, it's pretty safe to be a little bit lenient with oils and stuff like that. This thing will run rain, hail or shine. I do have to be a little bit careful, obviously. This should do just fine. I also was able to pick up an oil filter. All up, I think this came to about $90. It was like $88 or something like that. If you have a membership with them, they'll give you a little bit of a discount. So which is what I got, so happy days. So yeah, today I'll be trying to change my oil, swap the filter out, and yeah, hopefully it all goes good. And if it doesn't, sit back and watch me screw this up.
I have no idea if this is going to be extremely difficult or extremely easy.
Another thing to note as well, when you're doing an oil change on bikes, it's best to have the bike a little bit warm so that the oil will drain a bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a crack now. I hope this is easy.
I did a quick Google and I was unscrewing the bolt the wrong way, so I was actually tightening it up. I almost started to round the edges, which is obviously never a good thing to do. So yeah, what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna open this bad boy. This is just gonna help with the oil flowing out, and remove this. Do I have any mechanics gloves before I pull this crap out? I'm screwing it back in again. Okay, point of no return. I read online you need to be really careful about losing parts as well. Because yeah, these just kind of collapse out. Explode out is probably more the word. Sweet, we're just gonna let that drain for a bit.
Something that is mildly concerning. I feel like I can smell smoke, like bushfire smoke. And I did just hear police sirens. Maybe it was fire services, I'm not really sure. I hope there's no fires nearby because my house will just go up in flames, to be honest. It's not really built or rated against bushfires, especially at this time of the year with this heat and this amount of debris that's around. All right. Next most important thing right now is to get the bike standing upright. Currently it's on the kickstand, but it needs to be upright because when I re-put the oil in, I want to have a level bike that's going to show an accurate reading in the window. So I'll do that now. Doing alright so far. Up to the present moment, I think this is going to actually work out, which is really what we want. One time I had to undo one of these particular Yamaha screws
and I started rounding it off. It was actually on the brake fluid reservoir lid, and it turns out that you need this very specific Japanese-made screwdriver. I'll try and get a close-up of it just so you can see what I'm talking about, but yeah, I was basically stripping the screw until I started using this specific tool, and now it works like every time. So yeah, it's just one of those things that it was also like a real pain in the backside to get it, but once I got it, you know, once you buy it, you've got it. I think it was about 30 Australian dollars just for this one thing, this one tool. But yeah, like I said, once you've actually got it, you just have it forever and you can use it forever. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to undo this. I don't even know how tight it's gonna be. Oh, Struth. Let's try from this way. That's loosened. Okay. I know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but sometimes when you're coming at it from different angles, you just neglect to realise that you're being stupid. Okay. Whoop. Just gonna go nice and slow here. I don't want to do anything stupid. Oh, like that right there could have been bad. Almost lost this little rubber stopper which sits in there, and I would have had no idea. So yeah, there you go. That's the inside. So I'm just gonna pop that down on the rag and take this out very carefully. Now, this is where they say it's a good time to inspect for any like metal debris or any like really shockingly bad random crap that's in there. Right now, I can't see anything at all that looks to be worrying, which is really great. I'm really, really pleased about that. And it looks okay, although this has a bit of a deeper thing there. I don't know if that's going to massively matter in the long run. It did say on the website that this was like okay to use. Now does that sit in the same distance? I guess, how far does that sit? Quite away. This one. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. I'm just relining these back up, of course, making sure to have everything nice and tight and aligned. So right now this feels like it's sticking out too far. I think that problem will be resolved when I tighten these screws, and it's probably due to the fact that the rubber on the new oil filter is like protruding out, whereas the other one has had time to sort of squish in kind of thing. So before I put this in any further, actually, I'm just gonna check and see whether that rubber O-ring around the outside, around the inside, is all flush. And it definitely looks okay, so we're going to pray and hope that it is. Now, I watched a video on doing this, and they said that you should be replacing the rubber seals. The rubber seals that I just looked at look healthy and good to go, so I'm not going to be replacing them today, because I don't even know if you can get them right now, and I'm too far down the rabbit hole to be pausing this little project. This is the exact thing I was talking about. This is the right screwdriver, but someone at some point has gone to tighten this with the wrong screwdriver, and they have started to strip that Now luckily with these bolts, you can just get like a grinder and cut your own if it comes down to it. Mine's not that bad yet, thank the Lord, but it could be at a later date, so we'll see. Cool, now it's time for the sump bolt to go back in. Now I've just got to get these teeth to grab on. There we go. As soon as the teeth connected, I can feel it, like it just starts to go. And I just got to make sure I don't overdo it here. Cool, that's about as much as I'm gonna go with that one. Alrighty, we're at the final stage now. We need to refill the engine oil. So we're gonna use the good old funnel. That's gonna sit there like that. Now, according to the manual, when you replace the oil filter, you need to replace it with 1.5 litres instead of the standard 1.3 litres when you don't change your oil filter. So I'm going to take my measurement using the side of the oil here. You can't really see it, you might be able to see it in the light, but you've actually got measurements all the way along here. So you just want to go from, remember you're working that way, not that way. Seems like a no-brainer, but yeah. So we've got, we know this is an unopened bottle, so we know that this is a 4 litre, because it says 4 litre. And I can see right here that this point on the oil bottle is where it's been filled to, that's the 4 litre point. And then down from here to there is, that's a 3 litre point there. So, and then 2, and we want 1.5. So I want to fill my oil to this marker here. I'm just gonna scratch that in. And we know that this, once I've filled down to that point there, we have filled enough oil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm just going to go steady because I don't want to overdo it. So I'm just going to let that go down. I'm going to check. And I'm just checking my levels as I go. So right now I've used about 500 mils of oil. So at that point there, I've used exactly 1 litre. So I've got 500 more mil of oil to go, and then we should be good to go. All right, cool. So when that sits level, we've got to that point that we scratched on the bottle. So that's it. And yeah, I just noticed that there's this little O-ring here. We just want to be careful with that. I'm actually going to take this away and just gently clean around the inside of that, just to make sure that there's no crap stuck on that little porthole there. Alrighty, so that's just been given a bit of a clean. Little O-ring goes there. And that's that. So I'm going to go ahead and give this all a bit of a wipe down now, because there's going to be oil and stuff everywhere. So I just want to give that a bit of a clean, and then it will be the moment of truth. We're going to start it up. Alrighty, so last thing to do is just to start it. Pulled the choke out and killed it. Try again. Alrighty, so it sounds fine. I'm just gonna let it sit for a sec and let the oil level sort of return and just drop into the engine
just so I can check through the little viewing glass just to see if it's like basically back to where it should be. I'm expecting it to move a little bit, but we did follow the manual and we filled it up to the right amount. So yeah, I can see the window, the oil level has moved, but it is slowly starting to fill. So we'll check that out in a couple of minutes time and just see how that's looking. All right, so it's the next day. The oil change saga continues. It turns out that there is a leak somewhere. It looks like an O-ring situation. So inside of the housing where the two O-rings were, it looks like, I mean, looking at them, I think they look fine, but that doesn't mean anything. I guess they could be not fine. So right now I am looking to pull into a hardware store to see whether they're gonna sell what I need. 8:30 to 4 is public holidays. What's the time? I don't know. I'm probably like right on. I don't realize how early I wake up sometimes, so I like wake up hell early and I just assume that everybody's awake and that the world has already started, but it's not, and that's just what you get when you have kids. Cool, keep you posted. I might go to try Bunnings first and then try the auto store as a Hail Mary. We'll see how we go. I had a 50% successful trip to the auto store. Went on a bit of a journey with looking for the oil filter and then like going through the thing of like, are they going to supply the specific O-rings for the oil cap housing, blah, blah, blah. And of course the answer is going to be no. It's not their fault. It's just like such a random specific thing. Anyway, went to speak to the guy. We had a look around for those O-rings. The O-ring that I need, the bigger one, like they said I'd need to go to like Clark Rubber or a pool, like a swimming pool store, because it's just too specific and too random, and they don't make them that big. They're like half the size. However, we did find the smaller one, so that's good. And then last night, while I was half asleep, half awake, thinking about it, stressing about it, and messaging people on forums on Facebook and that, they recommended a little bit of a bit of grease, just to seal things up. I've just pulled up at the service station and there is a crap ton of oil all over the ground. Man, what is it with me and oil this weekend? I tell you what, it's just out of control. I'm just going to get a battery in a can and then I will be right back. Okay, battery has been obtained. By the way, if this channel ever blows up, which it won't, and mother, you want to sponsor me, by all means, please go ahead and do that, because I will gladly drink your product in all of my videos and off the videos as well. Sick. So plan of attack is go home, see the wife and the kids, and make sure everybody's all doing okay before I get stuck into this project, because knowing me, when I start, I'm just gonna go into like tunnel vision mode and be doing that. So hopefully, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean everything. So clean the whole area, and then like thoroughly with a toothbrush and degreaser, and then I'm going to reapply the old O-ring. I'm going to install the new O-ring and then apply the, I don't even know what it's called, gasket goo stuff. Hopefully that will hold everything together. Hopefully that will bind everything together. Man, if it's not that, I'm completely at a loss as to what it could be. I mean, it shouldn't be anything more complicated than that. Like, I'm only redoing what I undid. So, and it's not like I would have screwed up the bolts or anything like that, like stripped the threading of the bolts, and like, it's just very unlikely. So, I really hope this works, because
Alrighty, so that is done now. So the instructions on the thing basically just said to wait for an hour for this stuff to set. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait, and then we'll see if what we've done has actually helped in any way, shape or form. Alright, so yeah, put it all back together, let it dry up for about an hour, and then I just took it for a quick spin just to see what the go was. It looks as though the oil is not leaking out, which is really good. I don't know if that's to do with the gasket goo or whether it's to do with the bottom O-ring. Out of those two O-rings, the bottom one was definitely kind of stuffed. I mean, if you really look hard, the bigger one was fine. I'm just letting the bike cool off a little bit now, but when I just checked it and stood it upright, the oil level was a little bit low, so I'm just going to wheel it back into the garage now on a nice level surface and just investigate the oil level situation. Cool, so that's where the oil's sitting now. So it is looking a little bit low. Given that I just took it for a spin and all the oil is kind of like settling and stuff, I'm just going to leave it for half an hour, and then if I come back and look at it and it's still too low, I'll just top it up just a touch. But good news is it looks like the oil filter cap is not leaking oil. So before I was getting a ton of oil leakage down here, as you saw. It looks like we have resolved the issue finally. As I said, the bigger O-ring, it does look like it's intact and it's okay. I'll just have to keep a careful eye on this as I keep riding over the next couple of days, just constantly make sure that my oil level's looking good and everything else is looking good. But otherwise, I mean, from what I hear, these bikes are basically impossible to destroy. So provided that I have some oil in there, at least the minimal amount, and provided that I just, go easy and just take careful attention to what's going on and just see what the needs of the bike are, we should be sorted. So thanks for coming along on that journey. I'm hesitant to say that it's fixed, but I think it's fixed. And yeah, if you've made it this far in, thanks heaps for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.